Hi there, ADV here, Dr. Amandha Vollmer. I just want to address a video message sent by Synergy. This is Sabrina Wallace, and I left a comment on the video I reposted, Vollmer and Dr. Cowan. Greetings, Sabrina. I appreciate your video. Thank you for your work on this important topic. I know we are both new to one another's work. Just to explain where that question to Tom was coming from. Firstly, when I interview, I imagine myself as an audience member and what they might ask me when I pose questions or what they would want to ask. And some comments I've seen on this topic previously were arguments about waveform versus particle. So this is why I asked about the term biophoton and if it accurately describes the action of light. You can see the double slit experiment. I'm sure you know about it. Secondly, we are currently in a scientific paradigm shift regarding normal science. You can see my lecture from the End of COVID Summit about this particular topic for more details. So we're going back to baseline papers and questioning what we think we know to be true. For example, cell biology, the living body versus the extracted materials, the origins of DNA. The science here is quite slim at best. The phases of water, introducing the knowledge of the fourth phase of water, discussing holographic blood, i.e. the work of the Bigelsen family, and a large one, for obvious reasons, regarding the existence of viruses and proving without a doubt that they do not actually exist, and reminding people that the germ theory is false and the cleansing of the terrain is not separate, by the way, from the biofield, is essential for health. So I hope that helps to explain some of the background for me asking that particular question. So just for a personal background or some personal background on me, when I was a child, I could visualize auras and I understood them as part of the natural world. I would literally watch the biofield of trees eating the ether as food. I've worked in the energetic healing art since 2004, which was actually my first training in vibrational and distance healing with a method I learned called magnified healing. I actually brought receipts. I then went on to learn angelic Reiki in 2006 and started teaching it in 2007, which I did for about 10 years. I have these receipts also. Practicing distance healing was actually one of my favorite modalities because I found it very effective to rebalance the field through these amalgamated methods after I'd pulled all of the different training together. When I was in naturopathic college, I graduated in 2008, I was interested in color therapy, and I read a book called Healing and Regeneration Through Color, right here. This is by Corinne Helene. And I'm going to read to you the opening paragraph, which I actually underlined, and it returns to what I was mentioning regarding the actual term biophoton. Light is the positive or masculine force in nature. Color is its negative or feminine force. Colors are light at varying rates of vibration and are produced by the differentiation of primal light as it passes through the ethers. Pure polarized ether is the only substance which is entirely colorless. Matter has been called bottled up light, and science now declares that light possesses atomicity in addition to its wave-like attributes. Back at that time, that's when I actually first read Dr. Richard Gerber's wonderful book called Vibrational Medicine and Barbara Brennan's Hands of Light. Those books I still reference to this day. I was also trained in Usui Reiki in India in 2006, as well as Ayurvedic and Tibetan medical approaches when I was there. I preferred acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, as well as homeopathy in naturopathic college, as they are more electrical modalities, helping to move life force, energy, and also helping me to understand the terrain and its interconnections with the ether and other layers of life. In 2016, I then put it all together and started teaching about the lie of virology, and that the majority of science that we think we know is fraudulent at best. In my past public videos, I've repeatedly warned about the Internet of Things, the Internet of Bodies, the UN 2030 Agenda, the Smart City Push, the MK Ultra program, and the AI takeover, as we are seeing happen in every industry ad nauseum. I also explain how there are two paths, the AI tech path and the path of God and truth. They are using synthetic biosensors to get information, but their interpretations of said information are ignorant and nefarious. For example, using biosensors to halt the obesity epidemic or to catch tumors early. Over here, Tom and I are teaching people how to use natural principles to heal themselves, basically through lifestyle changes and to fire their doctors, and not contract with those minds, those warped minds, who have abandoned bioethics completely. They are, trying to play God, even naming one of their enzymes God, glucose oxidase, which is the enzyme most used in enzyme-based biosensors, and meddling with and trying to control life on every possible level. However, I also teach about contract law, free will, empowerment, as well as the vibration of fear versus love, and that the heart and not the head will get us through these times and prevent us from being victims of this godless cult. I do see the experiments on IEEE from time to time. I'm sure they are still using the erroneous PCR methods and other false data gathering in their tinkering. And it's not news that they've had remote viewing centers for ages. They work hard to trick us into contracting with them so we can hand over our free will. I clean up all mistaken contracts each night before I go to bed, and I teach that to others as well. I came to the conclusion some years ago that I prefer not to feed the beast and work on my own energy field instead to avoid being pulled into their dystopian nightmare. I think I gather that you are also wanting people to do just this. My spiritual teacher taught me that there are many worlds within the world and to choose wisely. We are limited in our capacity in this realm. I cannot know everyone on this earth. I can't learn every topic that exists. That's just unreasonable. I surrender to the Creator and I let myself be guided. I work to keep my body and mind clear and clean so that I am not victim to psychological warfare overlays, and I certainly do not subject myself to their propaganda. I certainly don't feel like I need to be scolded for not asking a question according to your idea of what should be asked. As I said, my guidance is what I listen to. I also won't be pulled into a fearful mindset about what they are trying to do to us. And if you've ever read Dr. Hawkins' Power versus Force, then you already know that those thought forms as energy signatures affect our biofields and our manifestations. You use many words that I would say 98% of the population are clueless about. Frequency calibration, synthetic biology, cell membrane voltage potential, biosensors, industrial wireless tissue engineering, biosensor locations, map of common software, interrupting the biohack. And that's great. You are intelligent. You have a field of expertise, but there are some erroneous assumptions made about us, and I'm glad we can clear the air here today. And that's why I also ask a very legitimate question about the language that we use to communicate. I'm also open to details of your suggestions about adding to the modalities, so please reach out, and thanks a lot for your time.